Welcome all to the second day of the conference where business and technologies meet and science, innovations and struggle to make the world a better place are welcomed. My name is Laima and I am an advisor at Finance Latvia Association regarding AML, CFT, GDPR and cybersecurity issues. And the Finance Latvia Association today are proud again this year to be a partner organizer to RIGA COMM. Thank you for bringing us up together to speak about things we are passionate about, and in the next hour we will dive in the talk about needs to make RegTech in service for better customer experience in Latvia. We have gathered today leaders in their field from all sides to identify best practices, needs and barriers to work more effectively. Let's start with the very beginning, a very good place to start, with client onboarding. Vladislavs Mironovs, member of the management board, chief strategy officer at Citadele Bank, is the one who is responsible for group's business strategy implementation, development of the bank's products and services, and most important, bank's digital evaluation. Please, Vladislav, tell us how RegTechs can cooperate with banks to make a bold step forward and allow to outsource the background checks and risk profiling of its clients. Stage, at least not the screen, is yours, please.
Hi everyone, and thank you for the introduction. Maybe in few words, what we've been up for in the last couple of years. I think Citadele was part of the digital evolution for the last 6 years. Most important part of this digital evolution was really to figure out how we can use technology and collaboration to bring a new solution to the market. And I think what's important here is, I think, the collaboration aspect, because we live in a world where no one can do things themselves. So amount of information, amount of solution, amount of digitalization which every company needs to handle is exploding. And if you want to do everything yourself, it comes really to the impossible journey. As we talk today about really the customer and the financial institution and what journeys customers go through the financial institution, and we will touch upon different ways of how we evaluate customers, I decided to bring you one specific example, which we've been working for the last, I think, 4.5 years. An idea for us to have a customers onboarded digitally came very early. But the reality was that in 2017, when we said, okay, we're gonna do digital onboarding for customers, we understood that we cannot. We stepped into the regulator and then we got a pretty clear answer, no regulations. We decided to start developing the solution internally while there are no regulations. On our second attempt, we were already clear that regulators started to catch up with the speed of the other markets, and we start getting the regulation which should come sometime in few years. As a result, we said, okay, regulations are not there, we have a digital solution, what is the best way to do? Let's implement a digital solution. So we launched the first digital solution in 2018 while we had no regulation in the market, and clearly, you need to work the compliance and the legal framework, so it's possible. We said, okay, we're gonna keep one simple person in the process, and that was our only single personal touch to fulfill the regulation. It was the courier, who ended up delivering a card and the documents to the customer and getting a physical signature. From the customer perspective, everything was digital, nice selfie, customer get onboarded. From the regulator perspective, we had this nice guy who did and fulfilled physical identification. So that's how we did it in 2018. Whether the story ended up in 2018, no. Story actually gonna be complete this year once the final regulation gonna be released and will remove turnover on the account, which need to be now monitored And with the new regulation adjustment in Latvia, which will come, I think, later than it was came in Lithuania and Estonia, we will have finally full digital onboarding. So, from our original thinking up to the full implementation, 4-year journey. Very, I think, interesting point here, we didn't do it everything ourselves. We used a technology for the self-identification. We tried to use different tools, actually really to get it into the live. Thanks, I think, for the partner Very, who helped us on the original stage to make it happen. So we got the solution. But this solution really evolved with the regulation and all the different things. If we take another example, which is SME onboarding, that's a totally different story. We tried to find a partner in SME onboarding space. There were no really partner who can, similar like Very, offer you same way of analytics to onboard legal entity. We decided we're gonna do it ourselves. This project took us approximately a year, and then originally we said, okay, we're gonna do it Baltic. So Baltic, simple, we wanna be a Baltic institution, solution need to be Baltic. Going through this journey, we also came to the conclusion that the Baltic solution is, guess what, not possible. For the companies onboarding, there is one very important thing. It's register and data integration. And guess what we came across? You have 3 countries, 3 different data sets, 3 different registers, you're gonna do it differently. Even we were developed internally the whole process, and they used locally authentication tools like qualified smart ID, electronic signature, will still got us stuck fairly a lot with the technical data implementation. So we launched the first country this year. We still have another 2 countries coming fairly soon, but each of them requires data and integration. So to sum it up, where we see the biggest challenges, regulation is not really catching up with the need of the digitalization. And I think it's important to engage in the discussions like the one today, really to find out how we can actually join the forces between the regulators, market participants, data aggregators, so we actually are able to go and bring new solution to market. Second thing, which is important to remember, this readiness of the business and the readiness of the regulator, it's always gonna be, I think, on a different way and form, and I think we need to get into this leading space. We need to actually focus on collaboration. We need to stimulate the collaboration, because that's gonna bring the solution. And the third thing, which is really important to understand, until we in this small market gonna start thinking Baltic, we will continue to be very much living in isolation, because Baltic market cannot really survive long-term having 3 different solutions. So we need to find the right approach to having one front end, one data set, one analytical tools, so we can really bring it to scale. So it all comes to the one conclusion, which you see, I think, on the right hand on the side. It really comes about security and easiness of use. And there is one good example of that. Sometimes we tend to over-exercise the security aspect. If you take example of the electronic signature and adoption, which we've seen in Estonia, it's really helped to get solution into the masses because of a bit lower security thresholds and it allowed a better customer experience. What we did in our case, we went to the most secure solution, tried to make it really good and solid, get it into the hands of Latvian inhabitants, and guess what? It didn't brought enough of adoption. Let's really, then we think about the solution and try to find this best collaboration element. Let's try to think of how we can find the easiest possible solution while still keeping regulations in the control. So in the next hour, I think we're gonna engage in the discussion on how we can actually manage the customer side, the data side, the analytics side, so it all can start working intact. And that's, I think, the vision and for today's discussion. So with that, giving back to Laima.
Thank you very much, Vladislav, for your delightful performance and best customer experience.